welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are taking an absolute sledgehammer to the anxiety, the confusion, and most importantly, the guesswork that plagues so many test takers when they face IELTS Reading Passage 1. If you've ever stared at a wall of dense text and felt completely lost, well, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down an algorithmic, expert approach today. It's essentially a prompt system designed to act as your ultimate reading tutor, turning a really confusing test into a totally predictable machine. Here's the game plan for today. Number 1, we'll meet your new tutor. Number 2, we're breaking down the 7-step method. 3, decoding question types. And finally, number 4, rules for ultimate accuracy.
All right, part 1, meet your new tutor and set up for test day success. Okay, let's dive right into this. Think of this AI prompt not just as some basic chatbot, but as a completely foolproof expert machine. It is designed for one specific purpose: test day success. Notice the structure mapped out here. Identify type, strategy, keywords, locate, synonyms, eliminate, and answer. This isn't just a casual list. It's a rigid, step-by-step guidance system. It forces you to slow down and approach the passage logically, rather than panicking and just skimming aimlessly around the page. And look right there, simple English, zero guessing. This is the core mantra of the whole system. We're stripping away all the academic complexity and those convoluted explanations that just confuse you more. The goal here is to leave only a clear, actionable path straight to the right answer. Basically, if you're guessing, it means you've skipped a step. It really is that straightforward.
Moving right along to part 2, the 7-step method, mapping out the cognitive process.
To totally master Passage 1, the tutor walks you through a strict cognitive process for every single question. Step 1, you've got to identify the question type. Are we talking true, false, not given, matching, multiple choice, sentence completion? You absolutely have to know your enemy before attacking. You wouldn't use a hammer on a screw, right? So you can't use a multiple choice strategy on a matching headings question. Okay, so once you know exactly what you're up against, step 2 is deploying the best strategy. Every single question type on the IELTS has a unique shortcut, an optimal path designed to save you precious time. The tutor makes sure you find that fastest path immediately. Then we hit step 3, which is where the real active work begins. Spot those keywords. Notice the super specific instructions here. You are looking to underline nouns, numbers, and proper names in the question. Why? Well, because these are your exact anchors. They ground your whole search. Numbers and proper names almost never change, making them perfect little beacons to hunt for in a giant sea of text. With those anchors firmly set in your mind, we go to step 4, scan the passage. Think of this like a zooming in process. You move incredibly logically from the macro structure down to the micro level. First, you skim the headings to get the lay of the land. Then, you scan for those specific keyword matches we just talked about. And finally, you pinpoint the exact line. You are literally funneling your attention exactly where it needs to be. And this brilliantly sets us up for step 5, synonyms and paraphrasing. Once you've found the line, you have to carefully compare what the passage actually says versus what the question says. This is exactly where the test makers lay their traps, It's where most students stumble. The tutor explicitly shows you how the original words have been disguised so you don't fall for it. Next up, step 6, eliminate wrong answers. You don't just pick the one that looks kind of right, you systematically cross out the bad options one by one. And the absolute key here, using strict evidence from the text. You aren't eliminating an option based on a gut feeling, you're crossing it out because the text definitively proves it is wrong. And finally, step 7, final answer plus why. The method wraps up by stating the answer and providing a short, crystal clear reason. The correct answer has to always be backed up by simple logic. Again, this reinforces that core mantra, zero guessing. If you can't explain exactly why it's right, you don't truly have the answer. All right, part 3, decoding question types and their specific rules. Now, shifting focus to the specific terrains, traps, and formats you'll face on exam day. Checking out the bottom half of the tutor dashboard, we can see the sheer variety of reading challenges covered. This system doesn't just toss out general advice. It gives you tailored, specific rules for every major question category you're going to encounter.
So the really crucial point is how this tutor adapts to attack these distinct types. For true, false, not given, you've got to compare the claim to the passage super carefully. For matching headings, match the main idea and avoid the trap of getting bogged down in minor details. For multiple choice, your focus is entirely on eliminating 3 wrong options with hard evidence. And for sentence completion, you leverage grammar and context to fill that gap seamlessly. I really want to highlight this specific high-value tip for summary completions and matching information. The dashboard notes that paraphrase clues lead to exact words. This is a massive quick win. You look for the paraphrase concept in the text, and sitting right next to it, I guarantee, will be the exact word you need to complete your summary.
Finally, Part 4, Rules for Ultimate Accuracy, focusing on what to do while teaching. Let's extract the overarching rules the tutor strictly enforces. These are literally the golden rules the tutor follows nonstop, giving time management tips after every question, constantly highlighting those common traps, teaching you skimming and scanning techniques, and doing it all in simple English. Plus, when you finish the passage, the prompt automatically generates a summary of key strategies and final tips to improve your speed. Building these habits is precisely what transforms an average test taker into an absolute master.
So how does all of this actually work in practice? Well, it's incredibly straightforward. As the instructions say, you simply paste your reading passage 1 text and the questions into the chat. The tutor takes over, walking you through every single question using that exact 7-step method, identifying keywords, pinpointing lines, and breaking down those tricky synonyms slowly and clearly. It all ends with this really empowering invitation directly from the prompt. Just share your passage and questions whenever you're ready. It leaves you totally equipped. You've got the 7 steps, you know the strategies for every question type, and you have the golden rules for accuracy. The tools are literally right in front of you. So I guess the only question left for you is, are you ready to finally stop guessing and start truly mastering the IELTS reading test?